Welcome back! We're in the book of Joshua, the 5th book of the Bible. We learned in the first section of Joshua about the Israelites crossing the Jordan River, and they're now in the Promised Land. Today we'll be learning about the rest of Joshua. Sunday school lady, can you help us out with that?
The second section tells all about the battles Israel had to fight to take the land God was giving them.
Wait, why did they have to fight to get the land?
Right, wasn't it their present from God? There were other people in the land, other kings. They didn't care that God was giving that land to the Israelites. They wanted it for themselves.
These kings said, if you want this land, you'll have to fight us for it. And even though Joshua didn't really want to fight, God said, go ahead, I'll fight with you.
And fight they did. King after king in city after city. The first big city they fought was Jericho. You've heard of Jericho, right?
That's where God knocked the walls down.
That certainly showed that he was fighting with them.
Yep, and he kept fighting with them all throughout the Promised Land until God's promise of their own land had come true.
Oh, fight, fight, fight every day and night. That's what they had to do, 'cause God had asked them to. Oh, it wasn't very pretty and it wasn't very fun. They fought in every city till the fighting time was done. And they finally had a land of their own.
Well, those just keep on coming, don't they?
I see you're reading the Bible again.
Yep,
That usually means you're developing a big question.
yep.
Okay, what is it?
Lots of people died.
What do you mean?
In all those battles, the Israelites killed lots of people. Did God want them to die?
Oh my, that is a very tricky question. I guess it's time for Tricky Bits with Buck Denver.
Buck isn't here right now. Please leave a message after the beep. Beep!
And now it's time for Tricky Bits with Phil.
This is one of the trickiest bits in the whole Bible. When the Israelites entered the land of Canaan, there were already people living there, and they didn't want to leave. Most of those people eventually were killed by the Israelites. So why was it okay for the Israelites to take land from other people? And how could it possibly be okay for the Israelites to kill them to get it?
That's right. Killing and stealing are things we aren't supposed to do.
Well, first, taking the land. Whose land was it?
It belonged to the people who lived there.
Really? Who made the land? Who made the whole world? Who made the universe?
God did.
Oh, right.
So whose land was it?
It was God's.
Right. Say you have a toy. You let your friend play with your toy. But after a while, another friend asks if they can try the toy. So you take it back and let your other friend try it. Do you have the right to do that?
Sure you do. It's your toy.
Right. And if your friend refuses to give the toy back, who is wrong?
Your friend is. It wasn't his toy in the first place.
Exactly. If the entire universe belongs to God, God has every right to take a piece of land from one group of people and give it to another.
Well, that makes sense. But what about the killing?
Right, why did those people deserve to die?
This is the trickiest part of all. But it all comes down to sin. Who has sinned?
Adam and Eve started it, but then, well, everybody.
Right. In the New Testament, the Apostle Paul says we have all sinned and fall short of God's standard, God's glory. God has a standard for holiness, for how we should behave. Some of us can do better than others, and we feel pretty good about ourselves. But God's standard is so high, none of us can even come close.
So we're all sinners.
That's right. You, me, everyone. And what do we deserve when we sin against a holy God? What have we earned?
I'm thinking not a timeout, right?
That's right. Paul says the wages of sin, what we've earned when we sin against a holy God, is death.
So we all have earned death.
Yep. So the Egyptians, who were killed by the plagues,
They got what they had earned.
and the Israelites, who were swallowed by the ground,
They got what they had earned.
and the people of Canaan, who stood against God, who said he couldn't have that land, who had worshipped other gods, who had even sacrificed their children to other gods.
They got what they had earned.
That's right. So the real question isn't why did the people of Canaan get what they deserve? The real question is, why haven't we?
Oh.
That's a good question. If we've all sinned, and sin deserves death, why haven't we all gotten what we deserve?
Because God loves us. He launched his rescue plan to save as many as possible from the death we deserve. The people of Egypt who were holding the Israelites as slaves. The Israelites who told God his rescue plan was wrong. The people of Canaan who tried to stop God from giving the Israelites that land. They were all standing in the way of God's rescue plan. Thinking you can stop God's rescue plan is a little bit like thinking you can stop a freight train by standing in front of it. It's not very smart, and you're probably going to get hurt.
So, do you have a song for that?
Well, let's see. That's a tricky one. Okay, how about this?
You can't stop a train by standing in the track. You can't stop an avalanche by yelling, "Hey, turn back!" And standing in the way of what God is gonna do will be really, 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 really not so good for you.
Can I help out, Captain Pete?
Well,
You can't stop a bullet by holding up your hand.
You can't stop a buffalo with a rubber band.
and standing in the way of what God is gonna do will be really, 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 really not so good for you. I guess you guys can help.
So we should thank God for loving us.
And working for our good.
His plan won't stop because of any one of us.
And that is why we should remember. From the top, Captain Pete.
You can't stop a train by standing in the track.
You can't stop an avalanche by yelling, "Hey, turn back!"
And standing in the way of what God is gonna do will be really, 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 really not so good for you.
But the God we serve is good, and his rescue plan is too. And that's really, 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 really very good for you.
Oh, is that right?
Watch me stop the TV using nothing but the remote control.
All right, I'm watching.
Where is the remote?
It's over there on the table.
Drat, too far. You win this round, television, but I'll be back.
How inspiring.